welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please stand attention for two very special people. Clap them in. Yay! Thank you. Please have a seat. Well, it's a real joy to have you come tonight. I know you've come a long way for a very special evening. And we want to give a big thank you to two people who mean much to us. Is that right? Yes, amen. So we are here to say a very big thank you to two very special people on a wonderful evening. And we know we're celebrating, in many ways, a life together of these two. They're not just newlyweds. And we'll... they're feeling like it in the moment. And so we want to have a good time. We're going to fill it with joy, with song and laughter, because that's surely what we're about tonight. And the two of us have really been thrilled to get a couple of pictures together. And I'm particularly grateful for the gentleman to my right, who has put together some wonderful pictures. He's written to some of you, and we'll see what comes of it. So, we shall begin. Please, having welcomed these two, that's a little bit of their background historically, and you'll find this a fascinating tale. We're saying thank you to two who are long in the tooth and white in the hair. Are you ready for this, Chris? So, please lock the doors. Nobody is allowed to leave as we make this presentation. Long ago, two people, and you heard about this just this last evening, a lady, I trust she's in our presence, is she? There she is, alongside a very handsome, happy evangelist, as she called him at one stage. There they are, and we go right away to see an amazing picture. Now, wouldn't you say, isn't he beautiful? But as we think through time, what have we done to him? This is called working with torchbearers. So look forward to it, ladies and gentlemen. But we have to go back again, having seen what 73 years does, and your bride there, who also looks a bit puzzled. Not quite what sure you were thinking about or talking about, but that's none of our business, but please tell us. All right. Well, there were three brothers. There's one missing. There he is. Oh, yeah. So, three brothers with one mum. Dad obviously was, well, traveling somewhere or other. So we press on with this little story, and we come to some old friends of the fellowship, and old friends of Chris. And I'm sure if he was able to stand up, and we're not going to let him say much tonight, he would say they were important people in his life, these old friends. And who are they? Do you recognize anybody on that picture? Anybody like to guess who's on the left? Billy Strachan. Who's in the middle? Gernot Kunzelman of Townhof. And who's on the right? Stuart Briscoe. And then we see on the right there Mr. Van Duren with Billy and Stuart. And you know, that picture was where? Kloostermuller. And probably the first staff conference that was held, and it was held at Kloostermuller. Where were you, Chris? Don't remember. Okay. Then, who's who? Who are they? Who do you think is which, or what is who, and so on? Who's inside here? That's Chris. And then the one with the knife, dangerous, and then Peter. All right. No wonder Bonnie fell for him. We would like to think it's a Bible, but I don't think so. That was in the days of these, high collars and so on. And you can see that that's here at Capernwray just a couple of years back. Then Chris got interested in evangelism, and you'll know that he traveled with the summer team. And I don't know if you recognize which is Chris there. He's the one in the middle. And who do you think is to his right? Dave Bates. Anybody know Dave Bates? Are you here, Mr. Bates? There you are. Would you like to stand up and show your face? Do you remember that occasion, Dave?
Yeah, 1974.
Really? 74. Northern Ireland, exactly. Outreach to Ireland, I believe, and there's got Melanie's there, I believe, and she served on staff here at Capernwray. Then, look at that. Who are this? What a sporty lot. Oh, woo! Now, tell me, who's the one in white? What's his name? Who's on the left? Chris. Who's next?
Bernhard
Ripsch.
my director from Germany, from Berlin, with leather pants. That's the German. I'm glad I don't have to wear them tonight.
Those things, when they're tight, really hurt, but we won't go into detail. Who's the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then who's behind the whatever he's holding? Anybody guess? No. It could be Billy, actually. Unless Stuart Briscoe. No, that is Stuart Briscoe.
Stuart Briscoe.
And then
And
Peter Thomas.
that's your uncle, Peter.
We just
Chris, Mark,
accepted anybody into the family in those days.
and Ken Sykes.
And I don't know if you remember, anybody know who's on the right? A fellow called Ken, who's now Ken Sykes. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's going back. And that was the official volleyball court in those days, which is about 1920, I think. Well, we're going to sing because these songs we're going to sing, as you'll recognize, you who are ladies will know where the songs we're going to sing tonight have come from. So we're going to stand. You'll see the music come up. Phil, come and play for us if you would. Throughout this presentation tonight, this Thanksgiving for two very great, wonderful people, special to us, are going to mean we sing. So here we go. Stand, please, everyone. Well, Independence Day? Not sure about that.
My dad would let me put the British ones.
Bonnie's just made the comment that her dad, being American, wouldn't allow the American flag to be underneath the British. We didn't want the colony back anyway, so. So, was that Independence Day? No, they got stuck together, and they're still stuck together, because that's what marriage does. It sticks you together. Well done. A great hair day. You'll see. We both wore wigs in those days. As you can tell. And the glasses I borrowed from Chris. Then you'll see we did marry very young, beautiful wives. Would you not agree? Hey, louder, louder, please, for that kind of thing. Thank you very much. So the journey goes on, and we find that there are some outstanding couple. Outstanding. We are quite a colorful family.
I like those prizes.
Yes. Mother, where did you get that? You'll notice that is at Cape and Ray, but I don't know the occasion quite, and I don't know if you do, Mother, or anyone else remembers. What was your husband doing then? Oh, never mind. We'll go into oh dear. Yes, and then we started to multiply. And this is on the nice warm coasts of the Carolinas where we both gained our other halves, the two of us. And then the family begins to grow, and you just don't recognize either of those, do you? The children? Who are they? Dan and Ben. Which is which? Anybody know? Recognize yourself, Ben? Good. All right. So then we know that they took up residence at Estes Park at Ravencrest. This is going back to the early 80s. They kicked us out and took over, as you well know. The family begins to grow, and there isn't that just a delightful? I think that was at that was Kmart. I think did that one. Nobody knows Kmart, but and the background you can just—it's like a paper background, and you just stand in front of it. You know the kind we do every now and then. So there they are, the perfect family, and I think this is probably the time for that perfect family to come up here and just do something, which I think. Oh, sorry. Yes, there is one more. As I said, there was one more. Thank you. So let's have these three who were on that picture just do something for us. A microphone, yes. I'm sure we can find one somewhere. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, we thought it would be fun tonight just to do a little bit of a quiz for Mom and Dad. One of the things growing up in our home is that we boys were just so impressed with is how well, after so many years of marriage, Mom and Dad know each other. And we thought it would just be great for you to get to experience what such a long marriage can do in knowing each other so well. And we're trying, so we're going to do a little quiz tonight. So if you both would come up here, that would be great. You can sit in different. Now we were trying to think of a good prize for the winner, and then also a scoring system. And since Mark gave us this task about yesterday afternoon, we figured we'd go out and just try to find one of the latest, greatest books that's come out. So for each answer that you get correct, you get a copy of The Saving Life of Christ. Hot off the press in many different languages. We've got Mongolian. We've got, I don't know. There's all sorts of different. Here we go. Who's starting off the questions? All right, Dan's going to start off the questions.
All right, it seemed appropriate to start with a very simple, basic question that would be humiliating to not know the answer to. So this one's to Dad. Dad? Yes. What anniversary are you on?
Coming up will be our 41st.
Probably the only book you'll get tonight. Okay, Mom, the rest of the bag's for you. What garment makes Dad feel lighter and more powerful every time he goes hiking? What garment? Don't be too revealing.
Makes Dad feel what? Most
Lighter and more powerful.
Yeah, it's a funny terry cloth green vest that has light and power on it.
The picture I think Mark showed, or maybe it was Jonathan, of them hiking, he had it on if you happen to remember that.
Can anybody just what does my dad do every time he's in a picture when he's hiking? Can anybody show me? That's it. Larry Norman. Larry Norman. All right, Dad. What movie does Mom bond with over every year with her 3 boys?
I do know, and I just don't think I can remember the name of it because I never watch it. It's about Christmas, and it must be Scrooge.
See if Mom knows.
Let's see.
A Beautiful Christmas.
Mom, what movie is it?
I think it's Little Women.
Ah. Sorry, no book, Dad.
All right. Mom, on the topic of romance, what is Dad's favorite romance novel series? No, it's novels. Favorite romance novel series?
Romance novel series?
Just think about it.
It's not serious.
It may more be bromance.
It may not be romance?
It's romance.
Bromance. What's bromance? I don't know. What's
There's always
bromance?
a relationship going on.
There's always a relationship going on. And it's a novel.
Serious.
It's a series. Well, I know he liked Downton Abbey, but that's not.
Should we see if Dad knows?
Yeah, do you know what it is?
Louis L'Amour.
Always a romance. Okay, Dad, romantic question for you. What would be Mom's ideal romantic evening?
Probably to be in a restaurant with a candle, having walked in hand, and then going on a little walk afterwards with a kiss at the end.
Has that ever happened? No book for him. No book.
Yeah, the correct answer is any evening, Dad, that there's romance. Is it my turn? Am I? All right, Mom. What is Dad's favorite English Premier League team?
Oh, Manchester United.
Ooh. Is that kind of? It is actually, isn't it? Everton. Is Everton?
Liverpool.
Actually, it would be, they're a bit tied. Burnley, because Pete always supported Burnley. But because they're up and down, it went to United. And so that's my default. But then because Ben is Everton dramatic, I would be Everton. So it's really the 3.
Oh, you get a third of a book.
All right. Dad, how many proposals did Mom have to turn down before she accepted yours?
Well, she's only declared one of them.
Pass it over.
There were 2.
Well, is it me again?
You got a dad one, and then you got
It's
mom.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Say that one more time.
If you count the Arab, there were 3.
Yeah, so that goes to Mom now.
So now a mom question.
Is it me? I think it's me. All right, Mom. What do you do that annoys Dad more than anything else?
Oh, no. What do I do that annoys Dad more than anything else? Have you told the boys the answer to this? Oh, well, I know. Yeah, oh, yeah, I do know one. I brush my teeth with toothpaste and push it out the middle. He hates that. He likes it rolled up from the bottom.
Do you want to even answer that?
I think this isn't the place nor the time. So we'll go with Bonnie's response. Yes.
Same question for Dad. Dad, what do you do that annoys Mom more than anything else?
Probably not being as romantic as she would like.
Not talking to me.
It's kind of...
All right, just a couple more. Since we're in the land of his childhood, Mom, what's Dad's favorite sweet that he would eat as a boy growing up in England?
Snowballs. Coconut, well, it's marshmallow with coconut on it and something like that. They're horrible, but he loves them.
All right, Dad. What did Mom give each of our wives when we got married to remind us of home?
She compiled a really cool photo album of their youthful lives with all the incidents of childhood.
That was graduation, but good try.
Oh dear, no, well, you started out right with the photo album, but I put in it all the Thomas family recipes that were the favorite recipes.
All right, so it looks like we have a winner. I'm glad that you got to experience, for those married couples out there, this is what you have to look forward to.
So you've been introduced to some of the intimate details of this couple. If you want the rest, you'll have to talk to the sons. They seem to know more than their parents know. So there's the bearded wonder as the children and the couple begin to grow in Estes Park, and there's another delightful, nice picture. This also was taken, but this was at Sears. That's right, Sears. And the background isn't real, as you can tell. Then, well, this was a very special occasion when we all met in Australia because it was Pete's turn next. And this is, I believe, and if I'm wrong, tell me, Pete, but this was before your wedding. I was numb. So I believe that was where we were at the time. And there we are again. I've still got those glasses on, unfortunately. But so we want to say thank you at this point to Chris and Bonnie, and I would like Linda to come and present something. This isn't the only thing, but we want to do that. So would you both stand up, please? And Phil, if you would do your part. And they've done well so far, haven't they? So they deserve a little bit of a break. So would you present those?
These are hydrangeas, and I love them. And I just tell, I love these are my favorite.
And it's your color too, isn't it, really? And let's give this to Chris. Because they have served us well. They deserve much more than we're giving them, but this is a wonderful opportunity just to give some acknowledgement. So you'll have to take it apart a little bit.
trophy. I'm afraid I'm going to have to explain it to you.
Picture, please, picture, because this is it.
We come together. You come together, please. Chris.
No, don't explain, Chris. It's all on there. It's all written on there. And the truth lies with me.
On these very large pair of underwear, comments that I wouldn't read to you. But these have gone from Mark to I don't know, for 30 or 40 years. Wow. And in different ways we get them to each other as a surprise. They've been in cakes, they've been in books.
It actually started, I think, at Pete's wedding.
Oh, I think
I can hold it for you if you want to read. Yeah, I know.
No, I can't read them.
Thank you very much. You may now be seated.
There is one that's an appropriate comment. These boomerang underwear always returns to the owner. Nothing brief about these. Now you see, it's my responsibility to get them to Mark, but I don't think I can be any...
It's all over.
It'll be all over you.
They're too big for me, Chris. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. Maybe you're wondering why we don't ask a lot of people to come to the front and say a long tribute. Well, I have sent an email around to all the torchbearer centers and I asked for 3 things. And one was, I would like to have a recent torchbearer picture of the torchbearer center as it is at the moment, and one from the current staff. So we're going to just flash through all the conferences and centers worldwide, and then we can all have a look at it, because they have all been sent to me, and they're beautiful, and I just want to share them. And you can also see all of the staff in half an hour. And they all wave at you and say thank you. They couldn't be here, but they sent the picture and greet you with it. So we're going to flash through all the centers, and that's a tribute to you too. So we start, and I went by the book. So with A, that is Albania. So this is how it looks. Albania, we've seen it, and this is the staff. All of the staff. We had great staff pictures, by the way. Then Albania. Look who's... Chris, do you remember?
I do.
Where was that?
Well, that was on the way up the mountain in one of the fortified turrets that they maintain to keep the Americans away.
Yeah. It's one of those bunkers. And Peter, I haven't asked you, but would you just explain why you thought this is an excellent picture to put in? Here, this is, please come. Go. You have to explain.
I sent you that photo, but you weren't supposed to say it was from me.
Oh, sorry.
I got this photo when Chris was coming down to speak at our Summer Refresh conference last year. I asked him for some profile photos that we could put on our promotion. And he sent this one. So I don't think he read my email. I think he must have thought this is for mentally difficultly challenged people conference, so he could relate to them. But obviously it was a game at Cape Marie Harbour, I guess. Do you remember, Chris?
Thank you. Schloss Klaus. And they don't only have a big house, they have a big staff. Who just squeeze them all in. And so they're all waving and saying thank you. And what does he does when he goes hiking? Yeah, not on that one, but generally he does it. And on the left is Jürgen and Hans-Peter. And then Schloss Klaus is so big, they have a special work. It's called the dig. I tried to translate it. I don't know why that is still in there. This is for working. Diakonia, can I say that? Is that English? In God's church. Put that D-I-G. Okay. And those are the 4 buildings. So it's very impressive. There are 4 big buildings where they take care of these people. And then they have a big mission going on. They have one in South India. And Christine, you're on the picture? Here, Christina. And Murli Manon in India. Micronesia, is that correct, Jürgen? And Sudan. Very dangerous area, and even that is presented there. And then I'm asking if you know these 2 guys. Who is who? Who's on the right side? Oh, sorry, right side is there. That's Chris. That's Peter Wiegand. And they haven't actually changed. Remember where that was? The 50th anniversary of Tauernhof. Then Austria, Tauernhof team. I thought I'd put that in because it brings a lot of memories. 4 years ago, and who would have thought that things have changed? But this is the recent one. And again, a lot of snow. And here goes. Yeah. And he has to climb. What is your greatest experience in climbing in the Tauernhof Dachstein?
Explain.
That is not that one, but Johann. How did
Yeah.
you feel doing the Johann?
Hans-Peter invited me to go on a Klettersteig. I didn't know what a Klettersteig was, but I knew I should fear whatever he invited me to do. And then I said, I didn't ask him what it was, but I asked the staff and they told me, and so I had great fear. So Hans-Peter said, then when I acknowledged it, he said it's over across the valley, and I'm afraid, he said, it's looking a bit too dangerous. There's ice and snow, and we may not be able to do it. So I thought, praise God. And anyway, the next day he came rolling in, very excited. He said, the weather's changed, we can do it. And so together with Martin Buchsteiner, the 3 of us hiked over to the bottom of the Dachstein where the Klettersteig is. It's called the Johannes Klettersteig. Hans-Peter with a couple of other people had put it up. And the first part was an overhang of about 15 feet. And as always, Hans-Peter said, Chris, you go first. And I thought, oh no. But I managed to crawl up, exhausted, and he said, you'll make it just fine. 2.5 hours later. But when we were the most significant thing, and you've heard me tell this account, we were probably 3/4 of the way up on a vertical slope, vertical rock face. Hans-Peter was above me, and he said, Chris, I want to take a picture. It'll look awesome. And I, hanging to the rock, said, okay. And he said, you need to let go of the wire, lean back, and look up. I said, I can't. He said, you must. And I assure you, to let go, lean back, and look up was almost impossible for me. But ultimately I did. I leant back just with my feet against the rock and looked up at him, and he took his jolly old picture. But it did serve as one good illustration, because really that is the Christian life. You see, there's so much to cling on to for safety, to overcome fear. And Hans-Peter introduced me, and not this occasion, but other occasions. Let go. Lean back over 2,000 feet of space and look up with a smile. And so that made an indelible impression upon me. And so I thank Hans-Peter for that.
Thank you. And I think that was on the time when we had our conference there, Directors Conference, and Rob and Phil and I remember that climb very well. We left quite a lot of skin on that one. was a bit juicy following you two. Yeah, that's a nice Austrian picture. And then Cape and Ray Harbor sent their greetings with a great staff and a great team. And Charlie Fordham, could you explain the right picture there? Charlie, are you here? Charlie, where did you get that picture from? Who is who? Do you spot anyone? Can you spot Charlie? Can anybody spot Charlie? Is that Charlie? Who's he? Don't know. Who's he? Chris. Anyone else? So when was that? Thank you. Then Canada, Quebec, and they do funny things up in Quebec. Very elegantly, and like a cat. Very good. Was that a directors' conference? America's conference? America's summit? Seen some. Who won? The ice. From the ice to Costa Rica. That's a great team, and I discovered a great place to be. And then back to England. And who is who? On that picture. We know that person, Mrs. Thomas. Do we know that person? In the middle is Gertrud and Bonnie. And who is who? Linda, Marlene, Kelly, another Kelly, Anne, Bonnie, Rajni, Ute Spindler, Hannelore, Runhild from Peter Wiegand, and Patty, and I think we haven't got her. Judy. Okay? And who is who on this picture? Oh, whoa, whoa, I've seen, oh, yes. Have you recognized someone, Krista? Who is who? The man that never changes or ages. Who is that, Krista? Who's that? Yes. Anybody else you recognize? Major. And anybody else? That's me. That's me. And that is Volker Nägelen. He was the son of the director from the guy in Spain. Reimer and Ada Nägelen, who started Mar Cristalino in Spain. They had a son, and that was Volker. And I don't know that gentleman here. Frank, do you remember? He was from New York, but Dan thought so. And that incident, when was that? Mark? The 50th of Cape and Ray. I like that beard. Where's it gone? And here they are, all at Cape and Ray. We all recognize them. Then Champfleury, French Center, great team, again. And then Bodenseehof, big Bodenseehof team. And by the way, that is not a funny hat, but that is a traditional southern German hat. It is. A Schwarzwald thing. And Gabi, where's Peter? Oh. Peter is missing. Here's another one there. Relaxing. That's close to Mirara Center. And I like those things when you talk that you would hold on to the barges. He said you like to swim. I think that was a fascinating of swimming. You go down the stream, just flow. And when you have to go up, you just hold on to the barges, the ships, the boats that go up. That's a clever idea. It was good. And this is the ladies' conference. Bonnie, been there several times. Thank you for coming. And we already seen that special picture here, and a lot of Kaffee trinken here in Germany too. And then we go to Greece, Kingfisher, and yeah, interesting stories there on the boat. We're not going into the details, but we sing a Mamma Mia song. And look at these young gentlemen. Can you believe it? Who is he? Theo, good to see you. Sandra, when was that? What time?
Oh, it must have been
5 years ago.
Marita's in it, and Marita was she was our secretary. It must have been, remember, Leptacadia?
Uh-huh.
It must be 15 years ago.
And that one?
Oh, this one?
That one.
I don't know. I mean, it's got our old dog in it, Rusty. So he died, 4 years ago. So I don't know that one.
Okay. Then India, Himalayan torchbearers, and I discovered that photo here from one of the conferences years ago. And that's the center there on the hill, and the Asia Pacific conference, and one of those churches where actually Major has spoken when he was there. And then Pondo Kepunre, Jimmy, and Japan, Tana is also on that build, and the friends. And Jane, is that the family? Is that at home? The 3 girls? I like that picture. And that is Tana. I don't know what he's frying, cooking, boiling. Have you tasted it? Remember that one? And Harvest Haven, we've seen the picture from them today. That was, oh yeah, here. That is Jonathan Westbrook, Chris, Luke. Don't know that, friend? Just friend. And you? Yeah. That was another Asia Pacific, is that right? Yes. Okay. And then Monavale and New Zealand, great team. And maybe Peter could just come up forward and explain why he thought that is a good picture to share.
So this is...
sorry, Chris, can you remember where it was from? Okay. Okay, Peter.
So this is in Cape Town, South Africa. We'd organised a conference in conjunction with Ambassadors in Sport, who I think Mark knows well, a number of folk from around the Manchester area. And we had 60 to 80 young people. Probably half of them were from a place called Paarl, and probably half of those kids had fetal drug alcohol syndrome. So Chris, in his consummate wisdom, decided to do, I think it was the doctrine of salvation with them. At any one stage, half of them were just watching the flies around the room, but to be fair, the other half of them were on the edge of their seats, listening to the gospel as they'd never heard it before.
Thank you very much. I thought that was unique to just show how far Chris has traveled, what he has seen. South Africa in there, it's great. And then Philippines. I like the Philippines. Very great, colorful pictures, a lot of things. May, would you like to tell the story? Yeah, maybe. May could remember one incident.
That was during your last visit, Chris. And I remember you asking when we were in Baguio. I remember you asking if there was a geocache. Yeah. You said, there's a geocache here. So I thought, what's the geo? Oh, is he looking for an ATM machine? It doesn't, maybe it doesn't have cash. So I answered, I still have cash. So only in the morning when you explained to me that the geocache is another game, like the whirly word that you taught us.
So geocache. Thank you very much. And then Spain. I have added that picture. I'm sorry, guys, but that was our only family picture there. And where's that, Joe? Where's that? Which water is that?
It's called the Fuentes del Algar.
Yeah.
The Mountains of Algar is in the mountains, about an hour from where Rio Vida is.
Pretty good. Okay. And that was one of the directors' meetings there, climbing up the hill, and then somebody had a crazy idea. I think it was Hans-Peter saying to your brother, Paul, can you organize us a bullfight? We want to see a bullfight. And rumors were starting saying, yes, there's going to be a bullfight. But I was happy going up to the beach, going on that rock, and that was a great time. And then we were driving into the desert, and it became serious. But we had some sandwiches on that wrench there, and it was great. And then there was a little bull, and then Paul said, we're on in an hour. I said, what do you mean we're on? Well, this is what you do. You go for a bullfight. So, honestly, if I could sort of make it bigger, you would find this is Chris. And there's only one guy that is taller than Chris. Who is that? Jürgen. Jürgen, are you here? Okay. Well, that's Jürgen. And that is the big bull. And don't laugh at that small little calf. It was vicious, and especially the long guys, they were, it's amazing how fast the feet are up in the air and the head is down in the ground. And we actually have movies to this. We're not going to show it, but I still have Phil's commentary on it. He said, Rob's commentating on it. He said, Phil, my, oh my, oh my. And then bam. Somebody ended up with a broken hip and everything. Peter, yeah. Huh? Phil Peters, yeah. So that was it. Actually, it was crazy those days, what we had to do. Oh. Well, calming down again. We're here in Sweden, and this is a great team, great staff, great picture. And, of course, the ladies traveling along. And then this is a special picture, and maybe John can explain who is who on this picture. John, Poissy. Wait a minute, we can give you... Because I think that could be important.
It's Fred Wright on the right, and his wife, and I can't remember her name, Sharon. And then yours truly and my beautiful wife, and Chris in his Crocs, and Bonnie.
With socks.
Yeah. And then Rick Schoon. Kelly was not able to be there. And then Wally and Donna Schoon. And Ulf and Eva Andersson. They were directors of the Swedish Bible School there for a while.
So what is so special about that picture?
These are all the directors in the history of Holsby, all together in one place.
And John got them together.
Yeah, and we survived together.
Was a special day for that, to do it?
It's our 40th anniversary.
So thanks for that beautiful picture. Then Credo, very nice. Who's been to Credo? Don't go. If you go once, you always stay. Okay, it's beautiful. That's when you're on the balcony, you see those big mountains. Amazing. Just been there, Pentecostal. And we had a European conference there, and I like that. It's real. Thanks for organizing that, Daniel. We really appreciated that. And then we had to do, we say bicycle, but I think in Swiss it's velo. And what, trotti? Say it. Trottinette. What do you do with it? You just roll down the hill, isn't it? We all had to come down that hill, and we survived. And look who's first. You know that one? That's my colleague, Mark Thomas. Yeah. And who's second? The Indian racer here. And then third, Chris and Daniel. And Brad from Sweden, isn't that? In 5th position, 6th position, so we had fun. His Hill, great picture. They sent the best picture, 10 megabyte, crystal clear. Well, they're from Texas. What do you expect? Boom! Where are they? Where are they? No. Amazing, amazing. Some of you got some. I said, I actually gave instructions, say, I need big pictures and Word documents. People are getting PDFs and stuff, you know, and some 130 kilobyte pictures. Woo! And I said, Texas, you have to send me bigger pictures. You want bigger pictures? Here you get bigger pictures. 10 megabyte! Bam! I like that. Great team again, waving and saying goodbye and giving their greetings. And then must be some Americas conference. John, can you give us the dates? Charlie.
That's going back 20 years. Because Ryan Morgan is in there. He was the director of Timberline.
That's there. Okay, Wiseman. Okay. Then Ravencrest. Coming home. Like that picture. And Timberline Lodge. And another family picture. Coming home. Having a meal. Oh, sorry. Did he want to say something? Ben?
Happy to be there.
Happy, yeah. Just to point that out again. Hey, who took the picture? I wasn't there. So, Romania, great place, and yeah, you seem to have fun, Chris. And there's the double-hander, by the way. Becky, you see that? It's not one, it's two. And then Dave. Dave, are you here? Dave, could you say a bit, I mean, if you feel like saying something about the table tennis that you've written to me? I thought that was so sweet. Wait a minute. Because that table tennis picture in there.
So at the Asia Pacific in 2011, and Pete was furiously trying to get the rugby World Cup final on because it was New Zealand and France. So it was a very sporting Asia Pacific, and the schedule got chopped around in order to accommodate that, but everyone was happy, especially when we won. Go on the All Blacks. Yeah. And Chris suggested we have a table tennis tournament amongst the countries that were there, and I was a little nervous because Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, some well-known table tennis countries, and Chris said to me, hey, you and me will be England. And I thought, oh, God, the old fella, you know. But I love him. I'll have to carry him a bit, but... So we played, and we won, and I barely hit a ball. He's fantastic. He carried me, and we beat Japan, Malaysia, India, Indonesia, and the Philippines at table tennis, didn't we?
Thank you, Dave. That was so sweet. Yes, so we've reached the end of the C&D, the tour. We traveled the world, and before we sing a song, we want to give you another present. The surprise one is behind you, but if you would both like to come to the front, we will not only give you these pictures, but we have collected something, and I would like to ask Peter to come forward and explain a little gift.
Chris and Bonnie, we're so thankful to count you as our friends, and thank you for your service. And we thought hard about what would be the best gift to give you. And we thought you'd probably want what any torchbearer staff would want, cash. We've collected this from the torchbearer family. People have been coming up to me all week, and they've been saying, "Can we do the deal?" You know, I mean, cut over here. And that's a nice fat one. And the condition is that the way that you use this to have a nice rest, a nice vacation, is it's a 50-50, power of vote as to where you go. So if you want to go hiking, if you want to, let's say he wants to go scuba or something like that, your 50% is
you say, let's go look at the tulips in Holland, or something like that. God bless you. Thanks so much.
We have just a little further to go with these pictures, and we like to begin with some that may have some explaining or need some explaining. Nothing terrible about this picture, but we're going to talk about a director. He has to have a sharp eye and be able to think clearly, and you have to get your shirt off to think clearly. But Chris there's nothing sinister, but can you see what he's looking at? Somebody said pair of underpants. No. In fact, we were as a family were by this river a number of years before, and unfortunately there was a bird's nest on these rocks, and there were some eggs, and they got stepped on. But actually we went back the next year, Chris and I, and we looked to see if the bird had come back, and sure enough, and you'll see where he's pointing, there are 2 eggs, and they look just like the stone. Can you see them? Yeah, so, and do you remember what kind of bird it was, Chris? Sand. It was a sandpiper. No. Yep. I won't disagree. It wasn't. Yeah, it was a sandpiper. Okay, so he has to think clearly, the director. The director has a sharp eye and think clearly, and he has to entertain. And this is Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus, which was at Capenray just a few years ago. We have Santa come in all kinds of ways, all kinds of garbs, and this is them. And you can recognize which is Chris, can't you? His beard matches his hair. Right. And then we have the director has to ski. He loves doing that. The director has to climb. And this is, I think, is that famous day, wasn't it, when we lost skin, or some of us did, on the Klettersteig in Austria. And then we know he has to curl. We know he has to sail. He has to wash. So you'll see, he's got Tana doing it too. This, I don't know when this was, because a good few years ago, but we've had that a while. And this is the Japanese cultural way of bathing together. We won't get you to stand up. And then we have, the director has to adapt to foreign cultures. And you'll notice there are 4 glasses there. The 2 by the ladies were whiskey, and the other was... Then we have the director had to adapt to foreign cultures. This is the depths of Switzerland, I believe, as we recall. And also he has to fight with bulls. And that shows that bull got bigger the closer it got to we who took part in some foolish activities. And then also he has to learn to push a bike and has to sit in meetings. And this only has doesn't just have one picture, because you sit in meetings, and you sit in meetings. Not going to happen. Oh, sorry. We'll go back. There were about 5 meetings described there. And then he has to keep a clear vision. We know that. And Chris has kept clear vision all the way. And then this is the director has to plan ahead. That's the early C and D charts of advertising, as Chris would recall many, many moons ago. So the navigation through the storm and a few of our young ones around us. And then we know that the director wins the prize. And we are very thankful for these 2, as obvious. And so we say, Chris, we love you, and we're thankful for you, and we rejoice that we've had you to lead us over these years, and we give God the praise and the glory. So, Stefan?
Yeah. Well, thanks for following us. And Chris and Bonnie, if you would like to come forward, please, because there's another present. And I would like to ask my wife to come forward too, because maybe this was a bit fast, and maybe you would like to look at it, no, you could do that, offline. And if you're like me, a bit, older, then this is the thing to have in paper form. And I already mentioned that we asked 3 things. We wanted a good picture from the house so that you have the up-to-date picture of the center to show around, and the latest staff picture so you're up to date and not only looking back, but this is the thing. And I've asked the director to have a little tribute, to write a little thank you or a little greeting. So on every page you will have a center and a little greeting. And that's why they didn't come up, because it's in written form and you can keep it. And this is yours. This is the size. I couldn't get a conference picture, so I just had to add 2 pictures at the back. And then we have the pictures of the beginning and the centers and the quotes. And this is how it goes. All is how it was. So all of you this is yours. But actually, so this is for Chris. And I had the idea. I like pictures, as maybe you found out. And so I love to do that. I enjoyed doing that for Chris. And my wife has also 1,000 ideas. And she said, I also have an idea. I would like to ask all the ladies to send in their favorite songs. And those were the songs we were singing. And she put a booklet together for you with the favorite songs from various ladies, also with a picture. And as so that's for you. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
That is our gift to look at. And you will have no, you can just stay up at the front if you like, because now this is the time where you can talk to the audience and to the fellowship. And if you have something to say, if you want something to say or to share, please feel free. Whatever and how long and who starts and how often you change, we don't mind.
No, I go first. Oh, well, it has just been such a joy to be a part of your lives. I was just thinking today as I ran through in my mind the different centers and thought, well, what are the pictures I remember? And the pictures I remember are all of you and so many others at your centers that we would take walks and pray, and your little notations in my little prayer book of people I'm praying for, and the years of prayer net and praying through the prayer net and getting your request, and the river song. So many honest, real things we've shared together as women. I have loved that. That has encouraged me. And I believe that it's unique in our fellowship that we can be so honest together and yet love the Lord and lean hard on Him, but be real about what happens in our lives, and support one another and pray for one another. So I feel like I do have one memory as I was thinking and walking around the loop and just thinking of the last years. I remember several years ago when we had the directors' conference at Bodenseehof. I went out by myself in the back in the orchard. I sat down on a bench, and I was looking at this very, very old apple tree. Are they apple trees? And I said, Lord, I feel like that apple tree. It's so old, and looks like it's very severely pruned. And I feel over the seasons of life that we've experienced together, and especially for me, as I've had to say goodbye to Chris so many times, and lived weeks and months, sometimes months without him, that pruning has been there. And I feel, at those times, I feel old and tired. And yet, as I looked at that apple tree, out of the top of it was coming new branches that were fresh and young and green. And the Lord said to me, it's not over, Bonnie. I have pruned, and I will continue to prune all your life, but there will be new life always coming out as you cling to me and abide in me. And I know that the friendships we have here, I'm not saying goodbye to you all, because we will hopefully see some of you again in different places and times, and you'll always be in my heart and in my prayers. So I just bless the Lord, and I really thank Him. And that song. I don't know who chose "May the Mind of Christ My Savior." Was that Phil? Did you choose that song? Because that was our wedding song. And well, I mean, it was the song that we chose for our wedding, and I think that those words.
Probably you chose it for our
Oh
wedding.
yeah, yeah, I chose it.
I might have had a Beatles song.
Yeah, that's right. But it expresses so much the heart that we have longed for God to give us and still gives us, and we have a long way to go. We're certainly anything that's happened, anything has been God's work in us, and we just praise the Lord that we can still run the race before us, strong and brave to face the foe, looking always unto Jesus as we onward go. So that's what we do.
First of all, our marriage. Most of you know this. We became engaged on our first date, and Bonnie didn't think it was a date. She thought it would be the last time we would see each other, with good reason to believe that. And at this date, where I invited her to come to a country pub in the Lake District, which I was looking forward to because it was expensive, and it was very, very nice. And she came at my invitation just before she was to go back to the USA, having been here for Christmas, with the understanding that we told each other no expectations, no relationship, just platonic friendship, which we had enjoyed for about 10 years with probably 2 letters a year. Yeah. And so she came, the time was over. We actually both lied because there was, Bonnie should speak for herself, but in my mind, I always compared any young lady that had attracted me. What about Bonnie? It bugged me, and I had to tell her.
He actually wrote me and said, "You bug me." That's how romantic he was.
But my mom had responded to a letter that I wrote from Colombia 10 years before, where I laid out my heart to her, anticipating that she would give me some of her incredible wisdom with regard to a young lady who expected that we would get engaged at our graduation. I was having some degree of doubt, so I wrote to my mom. I would not have written to my dad. And so out of desperation, I wrote to Mom, and I waited a long time for this response. I thought it was never going to come. Eventually, I got an aerogram and scanned it, and there was nothing there. So I read the letter and discovered there was something there. There was one sentence, and I've used this in lectures certainly. And she simply said, "Do you love her? Do you respect her? Are you proud of her?" I thought, that's it. That's all she said. But I did reflect upon that. Do I love her? And in my mind, I thought, I don't know. I really don't know what love is. I don't know if I can really say yes. So I gave myself 50%. Do you respect her? Yes, that was pretty clear. I did respect her. Her family, who she was, what she represented. Yes, I did. Are you proud of her? And I hated that question because I couldn't really say, honestly, I am proud of her. I won't tell you why, you would stone me. But I ultimately got 50% because I didn't give myself a score on the last question. Basically, I knew without a shadow of a doubt at that point, this isn't right. And so, like many guys who are very cruel and cowardly, the thing simply ended without much more communication. And so I always kept that in my mind. Do you love her? Do you respect her? Are you proud of her? And so that was my filter any time that I would look toward a relationship. And with Bonnie, we didn't have a relationship other than 2 letters a year. And Bonnie had written to me the first time I met her in South Carolina, a 10-page letter.
But I never meant to send it. I mean, I didn't send it.
No.
I wrote it to Jesus.
No. I may be Chris, but I'm not Christ. And so Bonnie did not send that letter.
Never meant to. I was just writing my heart out.
Sometimes we recollect things differently. And anyway, the bottom line is, after 10 years of this non-relationship, other than occasional letters, a couple of visits, because I came to Mark's wedding, we met, and another occasion, Bonnie determined that she would ask if she'd come to England for Christmas. I didn't respond because I feared that I'm going to be honest now, and Bonnie would, if I don't tell you, she will. I didn't want everyone at Capernwray, particularly the Pharisees, to think, oh, he's got a girlfriend. That would have taken away any possibilities.
One of those girls was in one of those pictures up there.
And so when I said, okay, you can come, it was too late for her to get a ticket because, one, it was close to Christmas, and secondly, the airlines were on strike. But, guys, you need to know this. She had already bought her ticket.
I was tired of waiting. If this was God's will, I just wanted to get on with it.
But when Bonnie did come, flying up from Manchester to England, I hope this is correct, she looked out the window on a cloudy sky beneath the plane, and there was the shadow of the plane on the cloud. And around that shadow, there was a full circled rainbow.
Yeah. And the Lord had said to me years ago, have I not said and will I not do it? Have I not spoken and will I not make it good? And that verse came back to me as I looked at that rainbow, and I said, all right, Lord, whatever, here I come.
So she came. And we didn't see each other really until that last day when we were going to go to our pub meal. And my plan was to propose to her at the meal, but I couldn't do it. And so we left the meal, and I knew that I needed to get the thing done. And so we stopped in Arnside. It was pouring with rain, and I pulled the car over, and I said, Bonnie, I've been thinking about our relationship. And you thought?
This is it. I was hugging the door.
What relationship? So I said, I've been thinking about it, and I want to ask you to marry me. And you said?
You've got to be kidding.
I said, it's okay, you can pray about it. And you said?
I've been praying for 6 years.
10 years.
Well.
And so we did become engaged that night before Bonnie left. I think it was the next day or the day after to return to the U.S. I think you were staying with Sue that weekend.
Oh, Sue was the first one to know it because Chris felt sick and wanted to go to bed. He said, well, tell my mom and dad in the morning. So I think, Sue, you were the first one to know it because my parents didn't know at that point yet.
And so ultimately we embarked on our honeymoon from South Carolina, heading for a month to various locations. And in the early days of our honeymoon, it wasn't going very well. In fact, Bonnie was fairly insistent that we go and see a counselor. I'm an Englishman. I wasn't going to go to see any shrink on our honeymoon. It was a very awkward, difficult, disheartening time, wasn't it?
It was.
But I only tell you that because I think we would agree it has got better.
A lot better.
Do you agree?
Oh, yes.
And
You got to wait long enough and go through hard times, you know. Love has to suffer, and ours has suffered. But God has been faithful, and I would say that the love gets better and better year by year by year. And yeah, I'm grateful for the hard times, though, because if there are a lot of people in the world who have hard, difficult relationships, and we understand that.
we do.
And yeah.
And so it's better now than any time before.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
So thank you.
No, I.
You can stay here. I'll save it. Just a couple other things. Not concerning that. I think it would be true to say we weren't looking forward to this evening. It's not really what we would cherish. So I was looking forward to being over, having been warned of very little other than we would be roasted. Bonnie didn't quite know what that was, so she wore nice things to try and salvage whatever might be coming. But I want to say it's been a wonderful evening, not because of necessarily what transpired, because what has clearly come forward is an expression of gratitude from you. And that is deeply, deeply appreciated. And I'm not surprised, because over these, whatever it is, 18, 20 years, I've always felt deep, genuine, transparent support, which has overwhelmed me. Because when I first took the responsibility against my instinct, and certainly against what I felt was my competency and comfort zone, comparing myself to my dad, I felt very inferior, very insecure, and really feared torchbearers will split apart. I feared Peter Vigant in particular. I always had, in his big, dark castle. With his, the three best lawyers in the world that had written an agreement. And I did go to Schloss Klaus, walked through those doors, and Peter Vigant simply said, "You're in charge." Peter Vigant did me the greatest service possible. He said, "You are the general director, and we are here to allow you to lead us." From a man that I thought and was far more competent, administratively, preaching-wise, leadership-wise, and that man gave me a platform. And I have told him how grateful I am. And I still am to this day and love to meet with him. We have a very lovely relationship. And what he expressed then, I've experienced from all of you. We are privileged people. Changes in my life and then our life have always been a challenge because I haven't wanted to go to the next level of opportunity. No. And as Mark talked this morning, he was at Ravencrest. And he wrestled with the issue of leaving Ravencrest. And God had to tell him clearly, It's over. We were at Elmbrook Church under Stuart. We loved it there. It was humanly speaking, a very successful time of ministry. We grew a singles ministry from just a handful of single people, and we became 1,000 with lots and lots of programs, great opportunities. It was a great experience, and Dad said, Chris, would you go to His Hill? I think that was the first. And we plucked up enough courage to say, no. Would you go to Capernwray to lead there? No, that's tough. And then he said, would you go to Indonesia and start and lead the ministry there? No. But he didn't give up. We now had a home, very young family of 2. And he came again and said, would you go to Ravencrest? And my emotion was no. Why would you go to a bump on a hill in Colorado, beautiful as it may be? And I consulted with various people I respected in the church, including Stuart, who would give me no answer. There was only one person who said, yes, I think you should go. Unfortunately, I believe God agreed with him. And so we decided to go. And I think it may have been as hard for us to go to Ravencrest as it was for Mark to leave. Transition. But as Mark expressed this morning, after the knife comes life. And after that knife, as in each change, has come life. And this life at Ravencrest was wonderful, and then Dad spoiled it again and sent that little note, will you assume my position? Everything within me said no. God said yes. Another knife. And today is the opportunity. Thank you for making this further death a resurrection for us. I've delighted in it. It's been a privilege and a joy. I have to say that where I've failed you, individually, or as a group in a center, or corporately, I'm sorry. And no doubt you may well see that I have. We're not done. There's still restoration. God is still working. And so there's a future. So on the one hand, it's a very sad moment that I haven't looked forward to. But on the other hand, God has demonstrated again and again, following the knife, there's resurrection. And we look forward to the resurrection. You've been a wonderful, wonderful family. And of course, my ambition would be that it'll never decrease, but only increase. As we meet you individually, as there may well be opportunity of coming to the different centers, as we have. Not as the general director, but that would be, I believe, our ambition. We are privileged people, and I find it difficult to express this, because as I look back, what can we say? Mom and Dad, not always easy for them or us. But we look back now and say, how wonderful, how blessed we've been. When I look to the present, what can I say when I've got 3 sons whom we love deeply? And I hope you're not going to contradict me. I believe it to be true. They honor us in everything that honor means and love us. And they now have children who they're bringing up together with their wonderful wives to honor us and love us. We are blessed beyond imagination. Not fair, is it? That's why it's embarrassing really to say it, because I can speak for myself. I don't deserve that blessing, that privilege. Not at all. But I do say it because I believe God doesn't have favorites. Doesn't have favorites. He loves his children alike. And as we seek to honor him, put him first as best we know how in the moment, even if it's a mistake by faith, he blesses. And you will all make mistakes. You will all fail. But there will be times when you fail or make mistakes by faith, as did Abraham. And God blessed. Isn't he gracious? He even uses our mistakes by faith to build us up. Undeserving, but that's who he is. A loving, gracious, faithful God who always stays the same in his creativity, in his imagination, in his ideas. And his idea for us to be together was crazy.
But wonderful.
But wonderful. So thank you very, very much.